Hello and welcome to History 2010, the United States to 1865 for the A term in the spring 2026 semester. I'm the instructor for the class. My name is Dr. James McDonald, and in what I promise will be a short video introduction, we're going to effectively do what we might if we were sitting together in a classroom in a face-to-face presentation. So this will be an introduction to the syllabus, the requirements for the course, the exams and how they are basically administered, study guides, discussion boards, so on and so forth. Everything, for the most part, that you need, you can find in the first block under the class welcome. The textbook, which I'll spend a little bit of time talking about as we go along. The link is right here. This is an e-book. You'll need to create a login with the textbook publisher. The syllabus is right here. We'll look at that in a second. We have the university policies for the spring 2026. That's a Word document that you can open up and go through. Sometimes it's attached and actually placed inside a syllabus. The discussion board expectations are here. We'll mention those as we go along. And we'll, for the most part, use the syllabus as it comes up and then go back and forth between the syllabus and what we have here in Moodle. All right, so let's take a look at that syllabus. Okay, I am in Kaiser Hall on campus of NSU. Most of you, I believe, will probably try to contact me through email. My email is right there. Just spell it correctly. It's M-A-C, it's MacDonald J. And I'm going to ask you to write the class and section number in the email subject line. No one uses a subject line. You just jump right into writing the message. But what I will tell you this semester is that I am running one, two, three, four, five 2010 sections. So they're 16-week, dual enrollment, they're A-term, they're face-to-face. So when you email me, meaning I have a bunch of classes, which is fine, it's kind of happens every semester. But as a favor to me, and this is going to actually be a favor to all your professors, make sure you write your class, which is 2010, and section, which is A-term. So you can just put History A-term, History 2010 A-term. If you want your email to be answered, that's the best way to do it. I know a lot of professors who, if it's not in there, they simply won't answer the email. What I have to do if you just say, hey, I'm in your history class, is I have to find your name on the roll. I don't know everyone's name in everyone's class because I've got a lot of students in a lot of different classes. So this is just something that helps us out. So for this particular class, either in the body of the email or in the subject line, write History 2010 A-term. You are not the only student I have. This is not the only class that I have. So get over that and make sure that you put that information inside the email. And you'll get your email answered promptly. The textbook, as I mentioned, is Tyndall and Shai. Now Professor Shai and others have taken the mantle of writing that book, which we've used for a number of years. We're going to be using the first half, which deals with everything from exploration, the colonies, the Atlantic slave trade, the indigenous people in North America, the creation of the United States, all the way up through the Civil War. So we cover a lot of ground, and we cover it in a short amount of time because this is an 8-week class. But that's okay. This is going to be a balanced as far as the workload goes, and it is a class designed for you to succeed. There's no other way I can state that, but you have to keep up with the work. So you have to get access to the textbook, which I told you how to do that. You have to do the readings. There will be 4 exams for the class, and they account for 75% of your grade. The exams, again, they're not comprehensive. So if I mention the last exam as the final, it's just exam 4. So what we're going to do in the course of the semester is give you 4 exams, 50 multiple choice questions. Those questions come from a study guide, which are linked in Moodle ahead of the exam. So ideally, you want to be working on your study guide as you were doing the readings in the textbook. You don't have to send the study guide back to me. If you have any questions about it, obviously you can send me an email. That's fine. Don't have a problem. I'm not going to fill out the study guide for you. But when the exams are all said and done, we're going to take your 3 highest scores. So we drop your lowest of the 4 exams. All right, so that's 75% of your grade. The other 25% comes from 3 discussions. The discussions are either primary source analysis, meaning a document written at the time. Sometimes we combine it with crash course informative videos. You may have seen these crash course world history or US history that are done. And the discussions, the first one is worth 30 points, and 2 and 3 are worth 35 points. And that accounts for a quarter of your grade. So the discussion board rubric is back in Moodle. And you can find it right here. The discussion boards have to be 150 words. If you don't on the first one or any one, and you say, I didn't know, well, you do know, because I'm telling you now. It's here in the rubric, and the rubric also is, rubric is a fancy education word for, requirements. So it has to be clearly written. You may not use the internet or artificial intelligence to write your answer. I want them in your words. If you do that, you will get a 0, no credit for that assignment. I'm going to tell you that these discussions are an easy way to help your grade. Also, if you don't complete them, they're an easy way to torpedo your grade. Because I've had students with A exam averages. They do none of the discussions or attempt to do them at the end of the semester. That's not going to work. They're due when they are due. They are not due at the end of the semester as you come to the realization that your A exam average is now a C. Not my problem. This is not a free-for-all. This is a structured class. So complete them when they are due. And the due dates not only are in Moodle, but they're also on the syllabus. So get them done on time. They're due Friday, at the end of the day. And if they're late, they'll get deducted 10% until I don't accept them anymore. And that's organized and laid out in the actual syllabus. Okay, all the exams are done through Moodle. The exams, with the exception of the final, are Friday through Monday. So I open it Friday morning. So you've got all Friday morning up through Sunday night, I should say. So you have all Friday, all Saturday, and Sunday until 11 o'clock. So effectively 3 days to take the exam. Yes, they're timed. They are not proctored, but the test question order is scrambled with different attempts. The answer order is scrambled as well. I already went over instructor response and availability. I keep different hours than you do, so your 11 p.m. email isn't going to get answered to the next day because that's way past my bedtime. So it's just one of those things that I promise you I'll get to your email in a timely manner. But I'll say once again, please, and it's written now a second time, name of the course in the subject heading and the section number for all of you would be the A term. Okay, I have a very stripped down, easy to follow syllabus schedule. In fact, we can get it all effectively on one page. It's an 8-week class, and this is the schedule of your assignments. You have the first discussion. Now, it's not connected to the textbook. Some folks have problems. In the past, we used to have problems getting, physical textbook. Now everything's an ebook, which is great. So we don't have that kind of hang up. But your discussion is actually not connected to the textbook. So you can work on it, even if you join the class late or just get working on it at the end of the week. So for the most part, the schedule follows a discussion followed by an exam, discussion followed by an exam, so on and so forth. See, again, you can fit basically the entire class schedule on one page of this document. We start off reading the first chapter, and then by the end of week 2, you've got 2 more chapters to read, but then you have the exam. You can see here, exam 1 covers chapters 1 through 3. You can see the dates it opens and closes. It'll close on Sunday, the 25th of January. Let me show you, going back to Moodle. So here you have your schedule. So it'll always be there in Moodle. But in Moodle, you also have the schedule, but this is where you go to get the work done. Exam 1 study guide. So I told you that the exam questions come from a study guide. So I got that open over here, and that's what it looks like. So as you do the reading, here are your study guide questions. You can see that there are 50. So this will cover the first exam. Week 1, you've got to read chapter 1. Week 2, you've got to read chapter 2 and 3. At the end of that week, you've got an exam. So it's a little more fast-paced than a 16-week class, but it's very manageable. The textbook is not horribly boring. It's a pretty good presentation, and just keep your reading paced so that you're not doing 3 chapters at the end of the week right before the exam. So that's what the study guide looks like. And you'll have one of these for every single exam. Let's go back to Moodle. So week 1, and here's a chapter. I threw this in. This is a PDF file from the textbook. So if you want an outline for the major topics in the chapter, you can use that as well. That's just something else. So here is the crash course video. You're going to be watching a crash course history on the Black Legend that applies to the colonial period and exploration. And then you'll click right here. This is a Q&A forum. And you'll just click on add discussion topic, or here. I think you can click on either one of these to get that completed. We're going to go back to Moodle. Okay, and that's week 1. Week 2, no discussion, but once again, like the syllabus is going to tell you what you got to do. You got to do 2 more chapters of the reading. You've got the major topics that are covered on chapters 2 and 3, and then you've got the exam. So here's a couple more chapter outlines from the textbook. You already have the study guide from the previous week. Find that right up there. And then there's the exam. It will not open early. It'll open from the time that's listed here on Moodle. That's Friday to Sunday. Okay, so you got 2 weeks done. Great. You got a discussion done. You got an exam done. Then we do it all over again. Now you're working in week 3, chapters 4 to 5. You have a discussion due at the end of the week. And here's your next study guide, which will cover the next exam. So that'll be chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7. I know it's 2 a week, but again, that's the nature of our class. It's an A term. So we've got a condensed class doing the same amount of work in half the time. But I know you all are going to be up for it because you chose to take the A term. All right, so there's your study guide. There are your chapter outlines that come directly from our textbook. And here's your second discussion. So you're actually going to read as a primary source document the Declaration of Independence. Imagine that. And then answer a question on it. That's right there, very specific. So the key to the discussions are obviously do them on time. Don't AI or internet cut and paste, meaning write in your own words. Write in a clear manner, answer the question, and you'll be fine. And that's essentially it. Having covered about 3 weeks of the course, you get the general idea what we're going to be doing during this semester. This is, again, designed for non-majors and even majors in the subject of history. It is a survey course. It's one I hope you learn a lot from. I hope you enjoy it. I hope maybe it changes your perspective and some preconceived notions you have about the subject of American history. And once again, I'm Dr. McDonald. If you have any questions or concerns or issues starting the class or during the semester, I'll say one other thing. In general, this applies to your college time. If you have any issues, communicate with your professor. We're, for the most part, fair and nice people. But if you disappear on us and then ask to show up and do work that's really, really late, the results are going to be a little bit different depending on your professor. So stay in touch. Catch any concerns that you have early on, and we'll be happy to help with your reasonable requests. And I will just say have a great spring 2026 semester.